Hello everyone. Today we are diving to the world of ideologies and globalization. And the presentation design is for educational use only. This material is intended for our instructor, Mr. Roldan Ardenes, to be used as a part of our learning experience. As we go through this, remember it's all about learning and understanding these concepts. So without further ado, let's jump in our presentation on ideologies and globalization. 6 core claims of globalization. Objectives. Criteria for a mature ideology. 6 core claims of globalization. Concrete examples and pros and cons. So what is ideology?
Ideology is defined as a system of ideas and ideals, including socio-economic policies that guide political thoughts. Steger emphasized that ideology plays a crucial role in modern life, serving as lenses through the people which interpret political events such as social structures and economic system. Examples include liberalism, conservatism, capitalism, Marxism, and communism. Steger brings the process of 3 criteria for a mature ideology. First one is uniqueness and morphological sophistication. Second, context-found responsiveness. And lastly, ability to produce back anticipation chains.
Uniqueness and morphological sophistication refers to the complexity and well-developed structures of ideas within an ideology. So, morphological sophistication means that an ideology has complex and well-thought-out structure. It's like having a detailed plan or design where all the ideas are connected in a smart, intricate way. For example, Marxism is unique, focusing on class struggle, and its structure involves concepts like base and superstructure.
Context-found responsiveness can change and adapt when the world changes. For example, social media. As you can see, social media having a content moderation algorithm. So, social media platform continuously update and refine their contents moderation algorithm to address emerging issues like misinformation and hate speech.
Ability to produce back anticipation chains. This refers to the capability of an ideology to help us think about future consequences based on its main ideas. For example, consider environmentalism. This ideology encourages us to think how our actions today, like pollution or deforestation, can impact the environment in the future. It helps us anticipate a chain of events and make changes now to avoid problems later. So, the ability to produce back anticipation chains is like having a vision of what might happen ahead.
But can we really call globalism an ideology? According to Michael Frieden, seeing globalism more as a set of ideas and beliefs than a traditional ideology.
So, these are the 6 core claims of globalizations. The first one is liberalization and global integration of markets. So, involve making markets more open and connected globally. Liberalization focuses on reducing restrictions and regulations, giving businesses and individuals more freedom in international trade. So, global integration means that economies are not isolated. Instead, they are linked, allowing the smooth flow of goods, services, and investments across borders. So, the example is the North American Free Trade Agreement, or NAFTA. So, NAFTA aim at liberalizing trade between the US, Canada, and Mexico, promoting free market principles. So the pros facilitates economic growth through increased trade and market access. So the explanation is this means that when countries trade more with other and have access to a large market, so a place where they can sell and buy goods and services, so their economies tend to grow. It's like having a bigger marketplace where more people can buy and sell things, leading to increased opportunities for economic development. So, encourage competition, innovation, and efficiency. So, this competition encourage them to come up with a new, innovative ideas to improve their products or services. Additionally, it pushes them to be more efficient in how they produce and deliver these goods or services. So it's like a friendly competition that drives continuous improvement and benefiting consumers and the overall economy. That's all.
Cons can lead to income inequality as certain entities may benefit more than others. This means that when countries trade a lot, some groups of companies may become richer, while others don't benefit as much. It's like if everyone shared toys, but only a few friends end up with more toys than the rest, it creates a gap between them. And the second is, may result in the exploitation of labor and resources in pursuit of profit. So this means that in the race to make more money, uh, some businesses might treat worker or use natural materials in a way that not fair or sustainable. It's like playing a game where one person doesn't follow the rules just to win, which can be harmful to people and environment.
So, inevitable and irreversible. Inevitable, globalization is seen as something bound to happen, a natural progression, while irreversible, once globalization occurs, the change and interconnectedness are considered permanent and challenging to undo. Example, the rise of the internet and digital communication illustrates the inevitability of global interconnectedness, and once established, undoing this level of connectivity becomes challenging, showcasing the irreversibility of globalization. Pros reflects adaptability to changing the global realities. This means that globalization can change and adjust when the world around it change. It's like being able to switch your game plan when the rules or situation in a game change, making globalization flexible and able to cope with. Fosters a sense of interconnectedness, potentially promoting global cooperation. This means that globalization makes countries feel connected, like being part of a team. When countries work together or cooperate globally, it can lead to positive outcomes for everyone, like a friend playing together and help each other out, creating a sense of togetherness. Cons ignores potential negative consequences and unattended side effects. This means that sometimes globalization doesn't pay enough attention to possible bad results or unexpected problems. It's like playing a game without thinking about the possible things that could go wrong, which can lead to issues that were not considered. Assumes a linear and positive trajectory, overlooking potential setbacks. This means that globalization often thinks things will always go in a straight, positive line without any bumps or problems. It's like expecting a race to be smooth and easy without realizing there might be hurdles or challenges along the way, overlooking the possibility of difficulties or setbacks.
Nobody is in charge. In the context of globalization suggests that there is no single central authority or entity overseeing or directing the entire process. Instead, The dynamics of globalization involves various influential actors, including nations and organizations. This lack of a clear overreaching authority highlights the decentralized nature of globalization, where decisions and developments arise from a multitude of sources. Example, the influence of major economic powers like the United States and China in shaping global trade policies and practices. So, we have the example of ROS, allows for decentralized decision making and adaptability. This means that globalizations often thinks will always join a straight positive without any bumps or problems. It's like expecting a race to be smooth and easy without realizing that might be burdens or challenges along the way, overlooking the possibility of difficulties or setbacks. So, acknowledge the diverse of elements on global affairs. This means that organizations recognize that many different things and people can affect how the world works. It's like the understanding that various friends bring different ideas to the game, acknowledge the diversity of influences on global events. So let's move on to example of cons. Lack of centralized control may lead to chaos or exploitations. This means that without one main group in charge, things might become chaotic or unfair. It's like playing a game without clear rules, which could lead to confusion or some people taking advantage of the situation. Powerful nations or entities can disproportionately shape globalization. So this means that big and strong countries or groups may have more influence on how globalization happens. This it's like in a game where a few friends have more say in what the group does, and this could lead to an imbalance of power in shaping global events.
Benefits everyone in the long run. The overall outcome of global interconnectedness, economic integration, and cultural exchange leads to positive results for all involved parties over an extended period. Proponents argue that globalization offers opportunities for technological progress, means that the countries and people become more connected globally. It should lead to good outcome for everyone over a long time. Supporters believe that this interconnectedness can bring economic growth, better living conditions, and technological progress. However, some argue that we need to be careful about issues like unequal benefits and environmental problems to make sure that positive effects are fair and listening for everyone. So, example, the claim that globalization leads to economic growth and prosperity for many countries with the spread of technology, innovation, and increased access to market. Pros promotes economic development and prosperity. So, this means that globalization helps countries grow and become rich. It's like sharing toys and friends, and everyone ends up having more fun and exciting things to play with. Promoting the development and prosperity for all provides opportunities for technological advancement and cultural exchange. This means that globalization allows countries to share news, ideas, and ways of doing things. It's like friends and sharing course games and learning for each other.
So these are the cons. May exacerbate income inequality and disparities between nations. This means that globalization might make some people get or countries get richer while leaving others behind. It's like if some of your friends have more toys while others don't, creating a gap between them and worsening inequality. So this next one is environmental degradation and resource depletion can be overlooked. This means that in the pursuit of progress, globalization might harm the environment and use up all natural resources without paying enough attention. It's like playing a game without thinking about your nest, or using up all toys, overlooking potential harm to the environment and depletion of resources.
Further spread of democracy. It asserts that globalization is linked to the promotion and expansion of democratic values worldwide. Democratic principles viewing freedom, free markets, and interconnected concepts. Further spread of democracy, it says that as countries trade and connect globally, they're like to adapt and democratic values like freedom and fair elections. People who support this think that when nations take a part in a global economy, it helps to promote democracy, making governments more open and reducing the chances of conflicts. So I have here one example of democracy. The belief that the promotion of the free market and trade would lead to the spread of democratic values globally, as seen in the democratization and efforts in post-Soviet Eastern Europe. So I have here the two pros and the two cons. So the pros is associating economic globalizations with economy can promote political freedom. So this means that connecting global economic activities with democratic ideas can lead to more political freedom. It says like when friends share and play fair rules, everyone enjoys more freedom, promoting a similar concept on the global scales. And the last one is the suggests interconnected economies reduce the likelihood of conflict. This means that when the countries work together economically, it can make them less likely to fight. It's like friends who share toys and play together, reducing the chance of disagreements or conflicts on a larger scale. So let's move on to the cons. So the cons is oversimplifies the relationship between economies and political system. So this means that connecting economic activities and political system might be made to sound too simple, like saying playing a game is only about one thing, when in reality it involves many aspects of ever simplifying the complex relationship between economics and politics. So it ignores senses where economic and development doesn't guarantee a democratic government. This means that just because a country is growing economically, it doesn't always mean it has fair and democratic rules. It's like assuming a friend who has many toys always share them fairly, ignoring cases where this may not be true, and economic progress doesn't guarantee democratic practices. And that's it.
Requires a global war on terror means that according to this claim, dealing with global security issues, especially terrorism, is a crucial part of globalization. It suggests that to keep things stable and connected globally, there needs to be a coordinated effort against threats like terrorism. An example is the war on terror after 9/11, where some believe that fighting terrorism was necessary for progress globalization. However, people disagree, saying that there are ethical concerns about using war to advance globalization and questioning if it is right approach. So here are the example for the pros. Suggests that globalization can adapt to and address security challenges. This means that globalization might be able to handle unsolved problems related to safety. It is like finding friend ways to make their game safer.
suggesting that globalization can adjust face challenges insecurity. Next example highlights the interconnectedness of economic and security concern. This means that economic activities and safety are connected. It is like understanding that playing a game might affect both the fun of the game and everyone's safety, emphasizing that economic and security issues are linked. So here are the example for cons. May legitimize militaristic and aggressive policies. This means that globalization could make warlike action seems acceptable. It is like saying fighting is okay when playing a game, potentially legitimize aggressive behavior and militaristic approaches in addressing global issues. Next example raises ethical concerns about using war as means to advance globalization. This means that using war to make globalization better might not be considered morally right. It is like questioning if playing a game that involves hurting others is ethical, raising concerns about using war as a method of improving globalization.
These pros and cons provide a nuanced perspective on the various dimensions of globalization as present in the claims. It's essential to consider the complexities and potential trade-off associated with each aspect of globalization when evaluating its impact on societies and nations. In conclusion, suggests that globalization may not fit the traditional definition of ideology. The viewer may contemplate whether globalization indeed qualifies as a mature ideology and how it impacts aligns with the criteria set by Steger. And thank you for listening and watching, and that's all.